This is Susan Pryor with Benchmark Mortgage, and I thought we could talk a little bit about the VA home loan and the benefits of a VA home loan. Our active duty military families and our veteran military families have often earned the right to a VA home loan, and there's a lot of benefits to them to help them become homeowners and have the best living situation. For one thing, VA home loan does not require any down payment. So a veteran can use 100% financing on a VA home loan. Now, about a third of veterans do put down a down payment, but it is not required with a VA home loan. The monthly payments on a VA home loan are much lower than conventional or FHA loans for a couple of reasons. One is that generally the interest rate is about 0.25% better on a VA home loan, and there is no monthly mortgage insurance. Since if you were putting less than 20% down on a conventional loan or you had an FHA loan, you're going to have that monthly mortgage insurance, which increases the monthly payment. And so veterans have the advantage of their VA loan not requiring monthly mortgage insurance. Now, VA does have something called a funding fee, which is a fee that gets wrapped into the loan amount. So you don't pay it at closing, it gets wrapped into the overall loan. Now, one of the good things is that if our veteran happens to have 10% or more partial disability, or they have a Purple Heart, and an active duty member could have a Purple Heart, in either of those situations, the funding fee is waived. So we always want to ask a veteran, are you or your spouse a veteran? And you always want to ask if there's any partial disability. If as a veteran you do not have any partial disability, but you do have some hearing loss or you have some ringing in your ears, my suggestion to you is to go ahead and file for that disability. I know lots of veterans are hesitant to file for their benefits, but in this particular case, it can save you a lot of money because if you have partial disability, your funding fee will get waived. So let's say you go ahead now and you file for your disability, and we help you buy a home in 2 months. Let's say it takes another 18 months for the VA to decision your disability. As long as you have filed before we close on your VA home purchase, then the VA will refund to you that funding fee, and that can be $10,000 or more. So if you have not filed for your a disability and you have something like hearing loss, I encourage you to go online and do that, and just reach out to us. We can help you figure out how to fill out that stuff online if you have any questions. What else is better about a VA loan? The closing costs are lower. There's less fees on a VA loan than some other fee loan programs. VA has no maximum loan limit. A lot of people don't know this. You could buy a $2 million house with a VA loan if you make enough money to handle that monthly payment. VA has very flexible underwriting. Basically, we can do anything that makes sense for a veteran as long as we can document what happened and string it all together. If it makes sense and the veteran has a good story, we have a lot more flexibility with a VA loan than any other kind of loan program. It is the VA underwriter's charge to help the veteran become a homeowner, which is very different than other loan programs, as I'm sure the underwriters out there would agree with me. A seller can pay up to 4% for seller concessions for a VA home loan. VA is also unique about what we can use seller concessions for. So we've had situations where a veteran had a debt that needed to be paid off to make the loan work, especially with high interest rates right now. That might be something that would come up. VA allows us to use seller concessions to pay off a veteran's debt. No other loan programs have that option, and sometimes that will solve a problem, and we're going to use it when it's necessary. A lot of people think that VA and FHA have the same condo complex approvals, and that is not the case. So if you have a condo that you want to make sure is approved by VA, then you can look it up. I can give you the website. We can make sure that it's already approved by the VA. If it's not approved by the VA, don't be stressed out about that. We can help you work with the VA to get it approved. It just takes a few weeks. It's nothing like getting a condo complex FHA approved. The VA is much more responsive and it's much less complicated. So don't be afraid of condos that don't have VA condo approval. We can help you figure that out. Then there's some other unique things, like on an FHA property. If you buy a house that was an investor flip, there are a whole bunch of rules. VA doesn't have those rules. If a veteran moves out of the home and rents the home that they're living in and moves into a new home, we can potentially use rental income to offset the payment of the house that they're moving out of. It's much more difficult to do that with other loan programs. And there's a couple unique opportunities right now. VA has the ability for you to roll in $3,000 to $6,000 of energy improvements into your VA home loan. So if you're buying a home and you want to replace the appliances so that you have better appliance energy usage, or you want to put in insulation or even solar panels, we're not going to buy those for $3,000, but anything that you want to do to improve energy efficiency in your home, you can roll into the loan purchase. Additionally, the new act that was the climate change bill that was passed not too long ago has some incentives for retrofitting your home for better efficiency. So it's possible that you can roll the money into the VA loan and they get some refund money back from the government in that energy efficiency package. And then one thing I want you to think about, if you have a young veteran or you are a young veteran or active duty person, a lot of people think you can only have one VA home loan. But really, a lot of our veterans who are interested in being real estate investors, they get there by using their VA home loan. Right now, a VA person can have about $700,000 in VA loans. So if a veteran has full eligibility and they go buy their first home, let's say that first home is $220,000. And they move in and they remodel it. Maybe they're handy, they paint and carpet and put in tile, and then they rent it out and they go buy another home and say that next home is $300,000. Then they can remodel that house and move out, and they might still have eligibility to go buy the third home. You can use VA loans for all of those. And if you think about that, that's huge, because now a veteran has 2 or 3 homes that they bought with no down payment potentially, and they have primary residence interest rates on those mortgages. They don't have mortgage insurance and they often have lower interest rates. So it could be a really powerful way for a veteran to become a real estate investor. So if I have 10 rental properties of my own and an office building. If you have a veteran who wants to talk about how to build an investment portfolio with their VA loan, I would love the opportunity to have that conversation. I love to watch youngins build a real estate portfolio. It's good for all. It's good for all of us. Nothing builds intergenerational wealth like home ownership. So all of us in the real estate community, let's get real focused on helping our veterans become homeowners, and we have an obligation to them to serve them at a very high level. As one of my bosses says, obviously the military is a all volunteer situation. We want it to stay that way. And part of the way that we stay that way is that we honor and care for and support the veterans who come our way to help become homeowners. So let's make it happen.